Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Sumit Gupta, who is the founder of Viral Pitch, which is an influencer marketing platform. Sumit has also co-founded many other startups such as Dillson Price, Zone Media, and Wizard API. Hi Sumit, welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priya. Thank you for the introduction, and I would love to, probably interact and come up with anything that might help other people to be in the game of entrepreneurship.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Yeah. So, hi guys, my name is Sumit, and currently I am working on specific project, viral pitch, and we're trying to create an influencer tech platform, which is primarily going to drive connections. So I've done my graduation from Crodival College, Delhi. I've done my MBA from KJ. Then I was working in corporate. My last stint was with IDO. I also go to Harvard and do this specific course on e-com and digital. Right, and since then, since 2014, I've co-founded many startups, and Viral Pitch is something that we have been working for the last 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about it. Tell us about Viral Pitch, what it is about.
So Viral Pitch is basically, influencer tech platform, and we try and create the right blend of technology and creativity to create impactful influencer marketing campaigns. So from an agency perspective, obviously creativity is very important, but we believe that in long run, technology is something which is going to be used by n number of brands to obviously in their search process, in their analytics process, and also in their reporting and payments process as well, right? So that's why we are focusing primarily on tech to deliver the solution to brands and ensure that in long run this process becomes smoother.
Okay. And who are the typical clients and what is the scale of operation we have right now?
So our clients, in the sense, we have worked with almost 50 plus clients in the last 2 years, and these include people in FMCG to people in beauty and finance, which happens to be our core right now, right? So starting from CoinSwitch, CoinDCX, Park Avenue, Wow, Quality Walls, right? So these are a few of the primary clients that we have. And in terms of the scale, if you look at it, we are at a scale of and our basically what we call as a North Star metric is that number of creators going live with newer campaigns. So in terms of that, we chase a number which is 20% higher month on month. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Tell us a little more on the influencer landscape in India. How do big brands approach the influencer? What is the logistic that works between these two entities? And what is the scale of this entire market?
Okay. So, so there are two types of brands in this market primarily, right? One is obviously, the large brands which have been there into traditional marketing and, have been spending a lot of money, and they take influencer as a channel, as a newer channel of their marketing spend, right? And then there are newer set of D2C brands or fintech brands who are looking at it from a perspective of their primary channel of marketing, right? So, brands who the traditional brands would primarily look at it as a channel where they look at it from a perspective that they need top of the mind recall the users of the followers of these influencers, and that's why they look at it as a branding spend, right?
Mhm.
But if you look at newer range brands like people like CoinSwitch or CoinDCX or maybe Mamaearth, right, or maybe a Wow, for them, ROI is very important, and they, while they have been experimenting with different kind of influencers, they have been able to look at it from a perspective. There is certain set of influencers that you can use, and you can also drive certain levels of ROI out of these campaigns, right? So yeah, that's how I would define it. In terms of scale, this market is ever growing, and though there is no official estimation of how this market looks like, but typically I would see this growing very very fast. And if you only look at people spending their money on YouTube or Instagram, because there are a lot of other short social media apps, right, on which money is getting spent, including Twitter and short video apps and things like that. The market should easily be like 100 million plus USD, and it's ever growing. Yeah.
Speaking of ROI, uh, can you compare the two modes of spending money for brands? So, for example, there is digital and offline advertisement. That is one part of it, and then the influencer method. So, can you compare these two modes of spending money, and where and in what proportion the companies might expect the ROI?
Right. So, if you look at it, traditional companies who used to spend offline, there is no visibility on where your money is getting spent, right? So, if you're saying that I have placed a hoarding or I am doing a newspaper ad, there is no typical, benchmark of how you're going to measure the performance of the ad, right? It is only number of readerships or the number of people who look at that, hoarding, which is an estimated figure, comes to the marketing manager. But if you look at it, the digital ways in which you can actually spend even 100 rupees on a Facebook or on a Google or on a programmatic display advertising channel, you would know that how many impressions, how many clicks, how many installs, or maybe how many purchases have come in, right? So this is a very, very analytical model where you can actually know the exact ROI of the money that you've spent. Influencer bit is again a mix of it. So if you compare it from a perspective that you would definitely get reports in terms of how many impressions or reach, or maybe the video views in case of a reel or a video, right, that you're getting. Apart from that, you can also come to know about the link clicks that you have, or if it's an app, then how many installs, or if it's a lead that you want to generate, then how many leads you've generated, right? So it's again a platform or or a channel wherein you can actually map your ROI from a perspective of how much you have spent and how much have come back to you.
And what is the proportion, or how do you compare? Let's say there is a brand who is confused between whether to go with the influencer model or whether to go with the advertising model. How would you recommend them to go about it?
It depends. If it is a D2C brand who's trying to create, and also, the stage and the life of the business that they are in, right? So if they're trying to create a buzz around the brand, if they're trying to create that top of the mind recall, if they're trying to ensure that people know about their brand, then I think influencers is a channel which can really lead things to go viral in a very short span of time. Whereas if you do even digital marketing, the chances of it going viral is are very limited. But on influencer bit, you can actually create campaigns, create content which is primarily user generated, and you can go viral very quickly. And that is why we named it viral pitch, because brands primarily use influencer marketing to go viral. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the platform. How do users come to know about the platform? Then, what are the different steps that they go through inside the platform to, do their job? And what are the different stakeholders that are onboarded on the platform?
Right. So there are two sides. One is the advertiser side and one is the creator side, right? So as an advertiser, I can create my account, and then I can launch a campaign, right? So while launching a campaign, it will ask me basic questions like which platform do you want to launch and how much money you want to spend. What is the following range that you're looking at? What is the engagement rate that you're looking at? If you have any specific target segments, like if you want to launch your campaign only in Delhi, right? So you can put those all filters, and then once you create the campaign, it will come to us. We look at all the angles of it, and based on that, we approve the campaign. Once it is approved, it goes live on the influencer side, right? So on one side, the influencers are there, and they'll be able to see this campaign, and then they can apply for this campaign based on whether they're eligible to apply for that campaign or not. For example, if the brand comes and says that I only want people who are between 10,000 to 50,000 following range, then only people, the influencers who have 10,000 to 50,000 following range will be able to apply for this campaign, right? So once this application happens, then brand has the obviously brand can see at their profiles, brand can choose or choose to reject. Once the profile is accepted, then the exchange of content starts. The content is placed on the platform. The brand can actually suggest changes or accept it. Once it is accepted, then influencer goes live. So it's pretty much simple in terms of how you can use it. And any brands, even if they want to spend a smaller amount of money or want larger amount of influencers, but they want to spend really low and do a barter on that, we serve them through other platform.
Uh, Typically, when a platform is built, the onboarding the initial set of users is little difficult. So can you tell us how did you acquire the initial few users, especially from the demand side where brands are onboarded?
See, obviously, the answer to this question, can be one word: hustle, right? So, we hustled a lot. We went to different brands. So, I personally would have made like 200 calls to different brands to understand what do they exactly need, what are they stuck at, what is their, what is that, that they are finding it difficult in the current ecosystem of influencers that they, influencer agencies that they work with. And based on that, we created, we made some tweaks in the platform that we had, and we presented it to them. People liked it, and that's why they came on board. Yeah. Uh, Obviously the first 5 clients or 10 clients are difficult to get onboarded, but I'm sure, once that cycle starts and you do good work, then, your good works brings you other clients as well. So yeah, that's the story that we have.
Okay. Now we'd love to learn more about your journey as an entrepreneur. Can you tell us what triggered you to become entrepreneur or join the path of uncertainty?
Right. So I think this was somewhere in me when I was a child, right? So I come from a very humble background. I was born in a place called Muradabad, right? And my parents were lower middle class family, right? And somehow never ever in my family anyone has done any sort of business or startup for that matter, right? So but I had this knack. I used to understand it, the PNL sort of things very quickly, and my favorite subject was also accounts. So that's how the knack developed. And my first venture was in partnership with my sister when I was class 12th, right? And that's the time when I started doing these startup jugaad, and that's how then I decided I should complete my education, and because I was good at studies as well, so I completed my education, worked in corporate, understood what exactly do I want to do, and then it started on the path into.
Okay. Can you also tell us how do you manage your time on a day-to-day basis? How does your calendar look like?
Okay, so I try and keep my calendar free for a lot of time. Obviously, how I divide is that the first half usually goes to the internal meetings, right? So be it any departmental meetings that we have, I try and put my first half into that. And post lunch, I usually try and do client calls, or maybe interacting with the product development team and understanding what exactly we can do, and obviously finding time for myself in which I can also focus and understand what the kind of decisions that I have to take and what is the next steps for the product that we have to work on. Yeah, that's how I would typically divide my day.
What are the different challenges that you have faced along the way while building and growing this venture?
I think a lot of challenges. It was full of challenges, roller coaster, in fact. So I think starting from how we hired our team to retaining good talent to obviously going live with the product, and then managing maybe 100 investors going live in one day. That's something that I can recall of, because that was the requirement of a client, right? And yeah, so the kind of challenges that we look forward for these challenges, because challenges become goals going forward. So that's how we look at it, and we pretty much get very excited about all these challenges that come on our way.
As an entrepreneur, how do you go about hiring? What is the series of steps that you follow when you want to find someone for a task?
See, so obviously there's a certain set of HR process that we have, but how I would evaluate people is on the basis of two things, right? One is attitude and one is aptitude. So I feel aptitude is something that you can still, tell people, or maybe they can learn over a period of time. But if people don't really have that attitude to hustle or do that hard work, or be in that boredom of learning new things every time, then it becomes very difficult to even have them, even if they have certain set of aptitude, right? So I would value attitude over aptitude all the time, because I feel that's how you would usually define the attitude to which you can go to.
Okay. Uh, as a marketer yourself, you would have discovered some growth hacks along the way, which would have worked for you or some of your clients. So, can you tell us some of the very nice growth hacks that others can take away and apply to their businesses?
Okay. So there are a lot actually. I can tell you the recent one, right? So there's a client who did not want to spend a lot of money in influencer marketing, right? So what they started doing was that we suggested them to bid on YouTube videos of people who were doing influencer marketing for their competition, right? So this brand X would advertise on the videos which were actually having in content promotion for brand Y, right?
Okay.
So this became a huge hit, because even before the video started, there was an ad which was about video, brand X, and they got the same amount of recall which brand Y, got it. So the CTRs were really high, because they were eventually able to, only focus on channels which were primarily drive growth for their competition, right? So that hack, that's the latest hack discovered on the way.
Okay, interesting. Um, what would you say is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How would you define the term entrepreneur?
Okay, so for me, entrepreneur is equals to, uh, you know, okay, that's a tricky one, defining it one sentence or one word. So I would say it'll be challenges, right? So if you are up for the challenges, if you are up for the hustle, if you are up for looking at new things every single day, and obviously learning these new things and adapting to these new things, then entrepreneurship is for you. Otherwise, you would never find an entrepreneur who is doing the same thing all the time. So this is about looking at those challenges, accepting them, and facing them, and ensuring that you beat them all the time.
Okay. My final question for you, tell us about the lessons that you have learned as an entrepreneur, which we can take away and apply to our ventures.
Okay, so yeah, so very important one is that build a high performance core team, right? I think if you can build that high performance core team for yourself, then you can do anything, starting from rocket science to doing an app or anything, right? So if you look at you know Elon Musk, right? He started from a fintech background, and then he's doing rockets, and he's doing electronic cars, right? So that's though he would literally not know a lot of these things about these new products that he has worked on. But obviously, these high performance core teams would always make you feel confident about what you're doing, and also be there when you need them the most, right? So that's one most important thing. And second is that you should understand how ROI works, right? So it's important for you to understand where do you have to spend money, and where you have to go really frugal and not spend money, right? So you would find that even Jeff Bezos would travel, in an economy class, because no matter how much money Amazon has, they're still frugal, and they don't want to spend money on things which are really expensive, or which are just for the show cause, right? So yeah, these two things that I would like to advise my fellow entrepreneurs on.
Well, I think it was a great pleasure to have you here at TLI. Thanks for your time, Sumit, and our best wishes for all the ventures you have built and you will build in future.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.